committee to go out and
That would be
perform
Board of
it.
Selectmen's budget.
Okay, thank you.
And we do have money in the ad hoc account. Just saying.
So what would the purpose of the ad hoc committee be? Would it be to look at the options available to the Board of Selectmen as far as lease versus commission and come back with a recommendation? It occurs to me that if an ad hoc committee doesn't move us forward in deciding how we're going to deal with this property which we own, and given the terms of the state agreement, I mean, the first selectman's suggestion that they become lessees, how does that address the fact that by virtue of the agreement, we are responsible for the repair, maintenance, and upkeep? Can we then say, oh, by the way, we don't want to do that anymore, we're assigning it to our lessee? I mean,
Well, the town is bound by the terms of the grant and an easement also. We have an easement on that property that we have to adhere to.
Mm-hmm.
So an ad hoc committee would usually not be the entity that undertakes those duties. It would
no,
simply
what I'm saying is the
recommend.
one, I suppose my question was twofold. One, what would the purpose of the ad hoc committee be? Would it be simply to come up, study the issue and come up with a recommendation to us as to how we proceed?
Yes, that would be,
Okay, and secondly, that with regard to the suggestion that we make the Friends of Samuel Smith a lessee, how does, I mean, reading this document, it occurs to me that we can't hand off our responsibility to another party to maintain, preserve, and, you know, carry out the upkeep, or can we? Can we just say, not this, this agreement notwithstanding, now it's your job?
the Declaration of Covenants and Restrictions, which is on the land records, does provide that the grantee, who is us, which is the town, may assign the benefit of the easements, covenants, and restrictions, obligations, and duties, which are set forth in that, to another governmental body, which would be a board or commission, or to any charitable organization or trust, the purpose of which is the maintenance and preservation of buildings, structures, and significant sites. So it does allow us to assign those duties to those entities, another governmental body or charity focused on historical preservation. Of course, still, as the landlord, we would be required to insist that they adhere to and perform their obligations.
So if they didn't then carry it out, it would still be our obligation.
We're the
We
ultimate-
break the lease.
And a charitable corporation or trust, that presumes we're looking for 501c3 status?
Yes, it took the group quite a while to acquire that status.
Okay, but it does currently.
They have
And they do have it now.
All right, thank you.
You don't have one now?
It only took them a year and a half, which is a
Well-
short time, I'm sorry.
It's.
They currently are 301,
Yeah.
501(c)(3), yeah?
That's
I
okay.
think to correct what you were asking, or to enhance what you were asking, the ad hoc committee, I think that Roseanne was asking about would be in lieu of a commission, act as a commission for a short period of time, not to do studies about whether we should have a commission.
Not to come back and make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen.
Is that
It would be
Accurate.
whatever we set
Yes,
their charge
okay.
up to be.
right? Okay. Any other comments?
Well, I fully thought that this was going to happen anyway, and that there was either going to be another commission when we got into this. So, and I don't think anyone who was sitting here didn't think that was going to happen. But regardless of that, I mean, even under maintenance, monthly utility costs, at $50 a month, they don't have that money. So it's us. So either we put 10 grand in an account and say, this is what you have, and you've got to either match it within a year or something and come up with something, because otherwise, I mean, they can't pay the bill to have. First of all, if someone gave them the security and put it in and did it all, the alarm system, they don't have money to pay for the $30 a month to keep it going. So to me, all of this means nothing if we're not going to back it up. And I think that that's the only thing we can do, is back it up with either in this upcoming budget, more than likely, a reasonable budget that's probably someone else looks at this other than what we're looking at here.
Right.
But I had no doubts then, and I certainly, it's much more clearer now that we're going to be on the hook for this at some point to either get it off the ground, which I wasn't here for the start of either one of the Lee House or Smith Harris. So I don't know, but I know over time in the 20 years that I've been here that we have special appropriated a lot of money over time for those two houses to keep things going because it's the right thing to do. And secondly, we own them. And we're the bottom line. So I think that however this shakes out and whatever you decide is if it's a commission, which, or you combine the commissions, which doesn't seem to be going well.
That doesn't seem to be a popular
So,
choice.
I mean, we have our little historical commissions, and I guess that's okay too, because they all find their way, and people have interests that I think bodes well, and the people that came here and made this happen with Samuel Smith are dedicated, and we'll find a way to get it done, but I don't think we can abandon the idea that we need to put some seed money probably in an account to keep up this kind of
So
stuff
I
going.
think, but if that's the case, there has to be accountability.
Thus
And-
the
Exactly.
commission.
And
Yeah,
that does,
and that's where the commission comes in.
Right.
And I don't.
That's where I'm at.
But that's not gonna happen overnight. But certainly just the cost for monthly utility costs, without it, you need to be able to operate one way or the other, so.
I wasn't here when the purchase, so I don't remember the history. I do remember it from the zoning aspect.
That's why you're smiling down there, yeah.
So I remember all the conditions, but I concur. I mean, we own the building. This board is kind of overseeing it right now, and I think we have a bunch of dedicated individuals here. You look at this small amount of money for what needs to be done. A lot of volunteer here. So, we bought the building. It needs some work. But I agree we need accountability, and I would be in favor of ad hoc or a commission at this point, and some point in the future that they could become independent, like the Historical Society or other groups, and that's a different story. But for now, we would need accountability.
I don't think nothing would please us more than the independence and seeing an endowment grow and grants grow and gifts to the friends grow, as has the Thomas Lee House over 100 years.
Yeah.
100 years, right? They just had a birthday party, didn't they? So, this is year 2. I get it. You got 98 years to catch up, but of course they'll be at 200 then. So yeah, we need to do something, and that's where I said, I pounded my fist on the table. I said, if they want money, I got to have a commission because I got to have a line item. I can't just take money from the air.
The one thought I did have, and I don't know if it works under the scheme of the town building committee, because all of this is repairs to buildings, and we own the building. They are an entity within this town. All we have to do is give them this building to get squared away, if you will, and put the budget with them, if that was the case. And then you have your oversight. You have people that know what they're doing with the insight of the volunteers that have come up with this. And then you would get that whole deal taken care of. And then you would give yourself next year's budget and next year's to get a commission together. So you wouldn't be under the gun to do that. But you already have a town building committee that's ready to go, that if you get, this is nothing.
Right.
Compared to real projects.
$15 million buildings.
To
right.
dovetail what Rob just said here, if you gave that charge to the town building committee, then they could come back with a realistic figure on what is really needed, rather than, the figures like this. They could do a thorough analysis and come back with some real figures, because I think before we appropriate any money, we need to know what our real, where we stand as far as what is really needed to be done there. And I think that would be a great charge for the town building committee to look into, come back with some figures to us, and then, at that point in time, you talk about what our next step would be as far as commission, whatever we need to do to help them out and to possibly fund it at
And
that point.
The beauty of that is we don't have to come up with people. They're already there. They're willing to do it. They meet on a regular basis. And this is a charge that would be a short-term, situation that would give them, and give the new group and the new building a foot to get off the ground. I like
I
it.
don't know how that would work.
Well, I
Okay.
would certainly, welcome someone from the town with the engineering and building expertise to actually go out and look at it so we know exactly what the situation is. Again, I think accountability is needed. We're obviously responsible for maintaining this property, and it would be helpful to know exactly what the situation is, and then we could better formulate a plan going forward.
You're talking more like Bill Shear than Rocco?
I think you'd charge the build, I think Ralph got it, you charge the building committee and make, obviously Bill Shear would be an asset for them to use, but you have a lot of
But
people on
you've
that
got, that's
committee
the
that
whole
have a
idea
lot
of that committee, is that they
expertise.
they have, many of the people that they're asking
Okay.
in this here, they've got people that have done that for a living and have the expertise.
Right. Let me, if other comments? I don't want to say I want to table this till the next meeting, but I would like to have some discussions with the building committee. I'd like to I'd like to talk to the group, think about how that relationship with group, which is just as it is now, a citizen group, working with the building committee, how that communication would flow, and then ultimately to us.
I think we would definitely need that, because these people are the ones that have the historical research.
Right.
They know historically what the building was
Yeah.
like and what historic materials would be used to make it authentic.
And that's, yeah, and that's my concern, that we'll be talking about people on the town building committee who are dealing with steel and $25 million buildings,
So-
and
Well, I
we're
think
talking
that's
about.
where
So that's
they
the
would
beauty
work
of the two of them
together.
coming
Yeah,
together
I know,
and
I
then
know.
coming out with a plan.
Let me think about it, let me talk to the group about it, the building committee, and report back to you at the next meeting. Would that be a good
I
way to move
think so.
forward?
I think that'd be an excellent idea.
And I would like to ask town council his opinion on this in terms of utilizing the town building committee and what his thoughts are on that.
Generally,
and the-
they don't carry a budget, so this would be an interesting new we'd be changing their charge, if you will. Would they be authorizing the funding?
Well, that's why I
Would they
would
be
like.
getting a budget come next July?
Well, in the meantime, the request is for the money now.
Well, we don't have
So-
money now.
I think what we need is a little guidance here as to whether that would be the route to go to actually funnel the money to the town building committee, which is an established town appointed organization, who then could take to the Friends of Smith
Would
Harris.
Dick, would you need some time to figure that, or?
Because we do give grants to 501Cs. We have in the past given grants to Child and Family Services, to,
We have a social services
that's that sort of
budget
thing.
item, and yeah, we could find ways to do that. The concern going forward, and don't forget, this is the first go-around of repairs needed. What
Right.
happens when they need a roof? What happens when a beam is gonna be replaced? And
But we do have some money set aside in the ad hoc account. So perhaps for an emergency, if there
Right.
were emergency things that needed to be done, we could
Right.
perhaps utilize some of that money and funnel it through the town building committee. With them, the town building committee would ask us for the money.
would we define what's an emergency and what's a want and a need?
I think that would need to be fleshed out.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good thing for the building committee. Are these repairs exigent, or could they, wait a little bit?
Yeah.
That's why I think you get a good.
What do you think, Mr. O'Connell?
I had a chance to review the ordinance establishing the town building committee regarding what its powers and duties are. And the first paragraph establishes that. It says as follows: there is constituted a 7-member town building committee, which, as instructed and to the extent authorized by the Board of Selectmen, is empowered to obtain plans and cost estimates for new town buildings and additions to existing town buildings other than school buildings, including such furnishings and equipment as may be required, and to enter into contracts and expend funds as may be hereafter authorized and appropriated for such purpose. So right now, their purview, their charge is defined as new town buildings and additions to existing buildings. So you might have to change their purpose a little bit if you want to go forward on that basis.
We also have a historic commission, historic properties commission. We have other commissions that could maybe accept money. So again, let's table this for now, this discussion. I'm sure we'll have some public delegation after this. Let's have some conversation, but let's get this thing moving forward. It's been quite a while. So if you all don't mind, we'll move forward on the agenda.
Okay.
Sign call?
Sign call. Town of East Lyme, notice of special town meeting. No notice is hereby given of a special town meeting to be held on Wednesday, September 16, 2015, at the East Lyme Town Hall Upper Meeting Room at 7 p.m. to consider and take action on the following. 1, special appropriation of $26,360, CNRE Fund 32, Board of Ed Dugout Project. Special appropriation $49,785, Deep Recreational Trails Grant. Special appropriation of $23,229, purchase and install new 911 phone system. 4, special appropriation of $98,071, purchase of new Harbor Master boat, dated at East Lyme, the 2nd day of September 2015 by the East Lyme Board of Selectmen.
Second?
It's been seconded. Any comment?
Just a clarification, was the number,
No.
just want to make sure you,
Yeah,
that was good, okay.
I got it right.
Okay, thank you.
But good, thank you.
26,360. Any others? I'll move the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Ayes have it. Unfinished business, I don't have anything on my plate
have
here.
two
You skipped
appointments.
appointments. You just want
I
that
can't
in
go,
here,
I
don't
can't
you?
get to a meeting without doing this. And I checked the boxes and everything.
Okay.
And
I'll-
appointments, squaw.
I'll move to appoint Mark C. Nickerson of 15G Drive, East Lyme, Connecticut, and Carol Russell of 4 Bramble Bush Drive, Niantic, Connecticut, to serve as members of the Southeast Connecticut Water Authority through September 1 of 2017.
Second.
Any comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Water and sewer?
Move to appoint J. David Jocks of 1 Red Fox Road, East Lyme, Connecticut, to serve on the Water and Sewer Commission through January 4th, 2016.
Second?
You see this, thank you for the second. I make a comment, this fellow is very talented in the water
Very,
department.
He's
very
qualified.
impressive resume.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pleasure. He volunteered, he stepped forward, and I'm pleased to add his name to the roster should this pass. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful. Well, welcome David at our next Water and Sewer Commission. Are you out there?
Right in the
I
back.
can't see that far. David, would you like to introduce yourself and say hi? You got to get on the
You gotta
microphone.
come
You
on.
got to
Oh,
get
yeah.
used to this commission thing, David. Thank you, Darlene, for pointing that out.
You
I'm
stuck
sorry,
around
David.
for all this.
I did. I enjoyed it.
Get used to these late nights.
As you pointed, my name is David Jakes. I live at 1 Red Fox Road in East Lyme, and I'm pleased to join the commission.
Thank you.
Look forward to
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you for stepping up.
Congratulations.
You've had some history in water departments and water.
The water world.
design
Water
and the
works.
construction, yeah, I have.
Yeah, wonderful.
I'd like to bring that to
Perfect.
the commission,
Great.
Awesome.
help where I can.
We do appreciate your service to the town, your upcoming service to the town.
Thank you.
Ex officio reports.
I have none. Summer, good summer.
It was.
Okay, just quickly, attended the last zoning meeting at which the landmark application was approved with conditions, a number of very stringent conditions, and I attended the, I think it was August 24th, Board of Education meeting, and a number of things took place, including the approval of a one-year contract with Spiral for the Chinese student exchange program, about which there was much discussion. And that's my report.
Didn't attend any ex officios because Parks and Rec was canceled, and you'll take care of water and sewer. Just one thing, Rob, you probably heard about this, that a former police officer in East Lyme worked his whole career here, retired about 10 years ago. Jim Weekly passed away
Passed
early
away
today.
this morning, yeah.
After a long illness out. He had relocated to Colorado, but Jim was a consummate professional and a very hard worker, and I know the police department misses him tonight, as does the community in which he served for so long.
Very nice guy.
Yep.
Mrs. Hardy?
I attended two planning commission meetings, but I think that the items that were discussed, I think I can bring up at our next meeting. But I would like to ask Ms. Cheeseman if tomorrow night's zoning commission meeting, is that still on for the hearing, or is it a public hearing or presentation for the gateway? Or is that?
I don't recall from the agenda. I don't believe it is on the agenda for tomorrow night.
So it would be the following meeting, probably.
At least.
Yeah.
That was discussed at planning last night, and it was unclear whether whether it was really coming up tomorrow night.
No,
or whether
I
it was
think
going-
that, according to the agenda, if I recall correctly, that I received either Monday or probably Monday, it was the request of the town for the lot change, the sign, and then the brewery. We had or the brew tap room. We had the text amendment approval, but this is the actual public hearing on the
All right, so
brewery.
this would be the proposal for the additional housing units at Gateway?
Yes, no,
And
it is not.
that a public hearing, or is that just on the board agenda? Do you know?
I don't recall that being on the
Okay,
agenda.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm looking at the agenda now, and it is not on the agenda for
For
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
For tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good to have young Mark here. He's so technically good.
Thank you.
On that note, Harbor Management canceled the meeting. There was enough attendance. I was not able. I was out of town for the inland wetlands. I did, just to share, I talked to Superintendent Newton about their elementary steering committee, and I recommended that we may have some selectmen represented at their steering committee meetings. I know Mr. Nickerson is already there, but he concurred, and he invited me to attend the elementary steering committee meeting, so I will be attending those, and I report back to the
Thanks for
commission.
that. I think they only have a couple left. They've been working for a
Doing
long
it the
time.
right time, I guess.
All set there? Was that your report, Mr. Salerno?
That's my report.
I'll cut mine down as brief as possible. Saunders, sewers and Saunders Point. That's how I'm going to start the discussion tonight. I instructed the water and sewer department. We've been waiting longer than we've owned the Samuel Smith house, so over 2 years. That's how I'm putting things down. For the state to come back with a position piece on how to advance in the Saunders Point sewer discussion. We need to come up with a plan on how we're going to study it and then apply for grant money. That's real layman, simple terms. We've been waiting. We've asked. We've been waiting. We've asked. We've asked. We've asked. We've asked. I just instructed the Water and Sewer Commission to go ahead and just do it. Instead of waiting for them to tell us what we need to provide them, we just provided them. And they went, oh, that's neat. Well, you're missing a couple points here, but otherwise, if you do this, we can move ahead. So guess what? So we're really close to moving ahead on the study. That's going to require town money, and it's going to require a lot of work. but we need sewers in Saunders Point in a desperate way, and we don't want to kick this can down the road any longer. So things are moving ahead in that neighborhood, and I'm very pleased to announce that. The sewers in Park Place were approved at the Water and Sewer Commission meeting the other night, paid for by the developer. So this is a big victory for that neighborhood, who is getting a development in the backyard, and we're pleased about that. But this is a benefit to them. Donnie Marr worked for our town for 43 years, heart and soul of our police department. He was the face of our, to our victims, to people who were burglarized and victimized, and he was our detective for many of those years, and he was the guy that sat with our citizens, and he retired, and we had a wonderful, appropriate, I can't call it anything other than a bash for him this past weekend, and it was well attended, and it was very appropriate. His wife Chris was there, and they're just going to have a great old retirement, and they're big into biking and hiking, and they have 6 grandkids, and they deserve the very best because they gave their very best to this town. I attended an appreciation, I don't know that I announced it at the last meeting, for Elias Perkins. Elias Perkins worked for this town for 50 years, and he's 83 years old now, and he just retired. So he finally turned in, I don't know if it's official, but he's retiring. But he was a heavy machine equipment mechanic. So the biggest trucks you can find in town, he was the guy in there, and he's small enough that he could fit in there too. And the wealth of knowledge, I mean, we'd have to go hire 5 guys to replace him, and we're not going to, unfortunately. But my hat's off. He's not the kind of guy that would come to a selectman meeting and be anointed by you 5 and me. But he's a great man. We had an ice cream party for him at the Genitazio building up at Capitol Drive, and God bless. He's a great man. It was great to be able to hang out with him a little bit. I attended the silver anniversary. 25 years we've had the East Lyme Community Center, which is kind of amazing. Didn't it seem like we just kind of approved that? And yeah, 25 years. So the senior center had a little thing last week. I attended a seat bus service press release. Of course, I'm on the board of directors of the seat bus. They're changing their bus routes. The East Lyme run is in question. We're not sure we're going to continue the bus service. Their rates will double to the town, whether we take them. Well, if we keep them, they're going to double. It'll be up to about $10,000, $12,000. We'll pay about $4,000 now. Different calculations, different way it's going. And frankly, we have about 5 residents in town that use it. So it'd probably be better for this town to...
I think the town should contract with Uber.
Yeah.
Well...
Yeah. It wouldn't cost as much, right?
Exactly, and people would be able to get where they were going, so...
Yeah. I know. So we might have to find alternate resources. There is something to be said about being part of the region, and we're all in a team, but, we're not well served out here. It's only a couple runs a day, and the times are very inconvenient because we're at the end of any of their runs. More on that coming. I went to a regional management meeting today with Dick Morris, and it was my first one that I attended. It was interesting. I'll be at the design committee next week. I am going ahead and authorizing, we have in our CIP plan $45,000 for the cost of an architect. If the school plan goes forward, the school is going forward with this design committee, they will come to referendum. Well, they'll at least come to this commission and Board of Finance, and should they pass, it will go to town referendum. The town needs to be able to communicate as well what we're going to do with the school that they abandoned and they're giving back to the town. And we have needs. Town hall needs, police station, permanent home for the police station. We have needs as well, expansion of our library. So we'd like to be able to roll that out as the town, as the school is rolling out their plan. It would only be smart, and it would only be appropriate for the citizens to know what the whole package is. So we want to at least give them a taste of what we're thinking of. And that won't be locked in. That will go to a different referendum. That will come up with different discussions and groups and public hearings. And that could change. but we need to have an appropriate study. So I've gone ahead and authorized that. Movies, my whiteboard in my office is filled with events coming up. It's amazing. Some of the things coming up. We have a drive-in flu clinic coming on October 3rd. We have the dental clinic for those who are unable to pay for dental coverage, and to have the folks that this would serve in our region is coming to the East Lyme High School on Columbus Day weekend. Movies in the park every Friday night through September. There were 30 or 40 families up there. Some of them were camping. They're all gathered around up at McCook's on Friday nights. As soon as it gets dark, they start rolling the movie. Last week was The Incredibles. And it was kind of neat to see the families up there. They all brought pizzas and stuff. The car show, I think the last car show of the season, and at least the next one, is Labor Day night, Monday night, at the VFW. They do a great job. They're trying to build something there. They're trying to create another town tradition, and I hope you support them. VFW roast beef dinner is Saturday night. Always a good group to support. There was a petition. You've heard about it. There's a letter to the editor as well, signed about the electronic sign that zoning had a public hearing on and approved with an extensive public hearing and notifications in the paper with a sign out front and all that. I don't know if the proper communication was, and it would seem not based on some of to the letter to the editor and this petition here, that this is going to be a static sign. It will be electronic, but it's not going to be a flashing thing. And someone mentioned, well, the one in Waterford has fireworks on it, and it's always changing. And we're not looking for that. First of all, second of all, it's not going to be at the corner of Smith Street. It's going to be way down on the other side of our property, because it would be inappropriate to put it at Smith Street. There is a little bit going on there, people cutting through. So we're going to put it down here. But it's a message board that might say town meeting Wednesday night, 7 p.m. It's a message board that might say, the other day we had Flanders Road closed. So it might say, accident Flanders Road, please find detour. It was closed down for several hours here because of a motorcycle versus car accident. This was only a couple of days ago, and it was pretty serious. There's flooding sometimes. So those kind of things, or a referendum. And when we don't have a message to put up there, we can say, please slow down. Because we have a real big problem with people buzzing through our town. Please watch out for pedestrians. It can be a public service announcement, too. Not a big flashing thing. So that is what's happening. It will be on our agenda next time. I think it was appropriate that I at least brought it up to you, that there was a petition. I'm sure you heard about it. And that's enough for tonight. There's a whole big count. Now that we're getting kids back to school and Labor Day is approaching, we're back in business as far as regular schedules and routines go. So we're very, very, very busy.
Hey, Mark, on that subject with the sign, because, the zoning commission did have extensive public hearing and debate of the use of that sign, and a lot of what you said is in the zoning regulation, so there is no flashing allowed. All that is heavily regulated. And that was brought forth because of interest from the high school, and that the commission brought it up, and they did approve the sign that has a lot of stipulations in it. You hit upon most of them, but all those concerns were addressed many times in the public hearings, and I wasn't at the last meeting, but I'm sure those are addressed.
Well, they were addressed, also the subject of the amount of ambient light. They will be dimming at night, so if you live
Yes.
across the street, you're not going to have a bright light in front of you. There were very specific conditions put upon the sign, the lighting, the use thereof, and how it will be governed. And having seen the schematics and the drawings, it looks very tasteful and very much in keeping